In a not so subtle message to ticket aspirants, especially incumbents seeking another opportunity to contest Lok Sabha polls, PM Modi on Saturday said BJP symbol Lotus is the party's candidate in the contest and asked the cadre to work with full strength irrespective of the candidate and achieve the target of winning 370 seats for the party and 400 for NDA. Urging party workers to focus on development-centric agenda and not get distracted by the opposition's divisive politics of tu meme, Modi said 370 is not merely a number for BJP. Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee made the ultimate sacrifice for abrogation of Article 370, preserving our nation's unity and integrity. As a tribute, BJP aims to secure victory of 370 seats, each representing his legacy. BJP passed a political resolution endorsing 10 years of Modi government and likening it to the Ram Rajya, which will lead to a developed India by 2047. Addressing office bearers minutes before the National Council meeting at Bharat Mandapam, Modi exhorted the cadre to launch a campaign to reach out the beneficiaries of central welfare schemes. Congress veteran and former CM Kamal Nath arrived in Delhi on Saturday amid speculation that he was set to join BJP along with his son Chindwara MP Nakul Nath. Nakul deleted the Congress symbol from his social media handles, much like Jyotiraditya Scindia had done before switching to BJP in 2020. Talking to reporters, Kamal Nath did not deny the speculation. Aam Aadmi Party is the biggest challenger to BJP and that is why it's under attack from all sides, CM Arvind Kejriwal said on Thursday. AAP's national convener said even if BJP wins this year Lok Sabha polls, AAP will liberate India from the Saffron Party in 2029 elections. Kejriwal was speaking to the floor of Delhi Legislative Assembly concluding discussion on the motion of confidence. He had moved to prove that his legislators were firmly behind the party despite BJP's alleged attempts to poach them by offering money and tickets to contest elections. Bihar CM Nitish Kumar said on Saturday that he had learned of many irregularities that took place when RJD was in government with them and that all such irregularities were being investigated, report said. Responding to media queries about government's Friday order to review all decisions taken by department led by ex-Deputy CM Tejaswi Yadav and RJD ministers Lalit Yadav and Ramanand Yadav, Nitish said, if there is any irregularity in any place, it is necessary to probe it. Things are being investigated, we won't tolerate irregularities. Meanwhile, the CM downplayed RJD boss Lalu Prasad's remarks that his doors are always open for Nitish, saying he maintains good relations with allies as well as opposition leaders. Renowned scholar and writer Jagadguru Ram Bhadracharya and celebrated poet lyricist Sampurna Singh Kalra Guljar will receive the 58th Gyanpith Award for 23. The selection committee chaired by Gyanpith awardee Pratibha Rai decided to confer the award on Ram Bhadracharya for Sanskrit and Guljar for Urdu on Saturday. Ram Bhadracharya, who lost sight in both eyes when he was 5, did not let the tragedy come in the way of his quest for knowledge. He has authored more than 240 books and texts, including 4 epics, and a Hindi commentary on Ramcharitmanas. He has also written a poetic Sanskrit commentary on Panini's work on grammar, Ashtadhyayi, and Sanskrit commentaries on this and this. On October last year, PM Modi released Ashtadhyayi Bhashya Ramanandacharya Charitam and Bhagwan Sri Krishna ki Raslila, authored by the Ramanandi Sant, who has also star witness for the Hindu side in Ayodhya site title dispute in Allahabad High Court. A polyglot who speaks 22 languages, Ram Bhadracharya also writes in Avdhi and Maithili. Urdu poet and lyricist Guljar 89, who is celebrated for his works in Hindi cinema, has received Sahitya Akademi Award for Urdu, Dada Saheb Phalke Award and Padma Bhushan. Sanskrit scholar Ram Bhadracharya 74 is a Padma Bhushan awardee. Having lost his eyesight in childhood, he has written more than 240 books and texts. Founder President of Tulsi Peeth at Chitrakoot, the Jagadguru speaks 22 languages and is considered an expert on poet Tulsidas. In an alleged case of recruitment scam at Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University, Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena on Saturday issued directions of immediate removal of Vice Chancellor Ramesh Kumar Goyal and gave his note to refer the case to the Home Ministry for investigation by an external probe agency. The LG have also given his note to remove the university's registrar Harvinder Singh Popli and issued directions to SEC consultant. If he was still continuing on the post, registration of FIR against Goyal and 6 other officials, including external expert Govind Mohan, apart from initiating disciplinary proceedings against 17 illegally selected faculty members who were appointed as professors, assistant professors, and associate professors. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal told a Delhi court on Saturday that he would appear in person for a hearing on March 16 in the case filed by the Enforcement Directorate against him for non-compliance with the central agency's summons in the excise policy case. Kejriwal joined the court proceedings through video conferencing. The CM told the court of Additional Chief Metropolitan Magistrate Divya Malhotra that he could not appear physically on Saturday due to the ongoing budget session of Delhi Assembly. This and this. Advocate Ramesh Gupta, counsel of Kejriwal, said the CM had moved an application of exemption from personal appearance before the court, which was accepted. He added that Additional Solicitor General C.V. Raju, who represented ED, did not oppose the application. The court, noting that the budget session of Delhi Assembly had commenced on February 15 and would continue till the first week of March. The accused, being the Chief Minister of Delhi and leader of the House of the Delhi Legislative Assembly, has to take an active part in the Assembly session. As much it is requested that his personal appearance be exempted for today so as to enable him to discharge of his official duties, and that the matter be adjourned after the first week of March. On February 7, hearing ED's plea, the same court had issued summons to the CM stating that he was legally bound to attend the court in person in pursuance of the summons issued to him in the money laundering case related to the excise policy case, but had failed to do so. ED had alleged that the AAP leader was deliberately not complying with the central agency summons in excise policy case, moving the complaint under section 190 and 200 of CRPC for not complying with the summons issued under section 50 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002 and not for joining the investigation. Delhi, one of the most polluted cities of the world, was given rupees 42 crore for the financial year. This to combat air pollution by the centre. The Union Environment Ministry has informed the National Green Tribunal. The amount, however, was just about 2.5% of 1600 crore released for a total of 19 cities across the country. Till February 14, Lucknow was given rupees 385 crore, while Patna was allocated rupees 298 crore. Bhopal got this and this. In November 23, NGT has asked the Union Environment Ministry to file its response on the monitoring mechanism to oversee the progress of implementation of action plans for each non-attainment city. The National Clean Air Program was launched as a comprehensive plan to address air pollution across the country in a focused manner to achieve 20% to 30% reduction in PM levels by 24 from 2017. The target was now been revised to 40% or achievement of national standards by 25-26. The program is implemented in 131 cities, including 123 non-attainment cities. The program's strategy includes implementation of clean air action plans at national, state and city levels of source-specific mitigation action by central ministries and state government and their agencies, convergence of resource from schemes of central government, state government and urban local bodies, and organizing public outreach activities for awareness generation, stated the Environment Ministry to NGT in a letter dated February 17. Annual action plans are prepared by the cities to prioritize and implement the measures to improve air quality based on allocation of funds under NCAP as well as under various other schemes of the centre. Total amount of rupees 19,000 crore has been allocated under NCAP from financial year. This out of which rupees 9,000 crore has been released till date 131 to cities for the implementation of the city action plans, the ministry further pointed out. All India Institute of Medical Sciences will introduce an online system for allocating hostel accommodation from April 1 so that students and resident doctors won't be required to visit hostel section in person to apply for the same. This system will enable students to view the availability and allotment status of hostel accommodation on an online dashboard. It will also allow them to apply for the same online. The hostel section shall use this system for allocating the accommodation in the transparent and timely manner. According to officials, the choice of room number to be allotted shall be done randomly by the online system from against the available rooms to which the applicant is entitled. The decision to give online system was taken after students and resident doctors requested AIIMS Director Professor M. Srinivas to make the process transparent so that they do not have to visit the hostel section in person for the same. Welcoming the decision, President of Resident Doctors Association Dr. Vinay Kumar said this was a long pending demand which has been fulfilled by the administration. Delhi Tourism's month-long walk festival commenced on Saturday from Mehrauli Archaeological Park. The festival aims to celebrate city's rich heritage by inviting participants to explore historical treasures through a series of guided walks. During the inaugural walk, Tourism Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj said that efforts were being made to encourage foreign tourists visiting India to spend substantial time in the city to enjoy its rich history and culture. For this, the department has launched a series of heritage walks in which stories related to 50 historical sites will be shared, guided by expert and counters. Attendees will gain deeper insight into a city's history, he added. The festival comprises a diverse range of walks, each highlighting a unique aspect of Delhi. Participants can immerse themselves in the grandeur of Mehrauli Archaeological Park, experience the mystical allure of Sufiana Delhi and delve the history during Sham-e-Tughlaqabad. Noteworthy walks include the haunted walks which explore Malcha Mahal and the legends of Disney's at Firozshah Kotla. Beside an exciting lineup of walks has been curated such as Dekho Apna CP Roshan-e-Delhi at Qutub Complex and Jewels of Delhi, showcasing the city's architectural marvels and cultural heritage. Participants can also savor the flavors of Old Delhi with Jaike Purani Delhi ke and explore the stories of partition at Purana Killa with Partition Diaries. Officials said that the festival seeks to showcase the extensive historical and cultural heritage of Delhi. Exclusive pricing for the Delhi tourism walks rupees 500 per participant. Interested individuals can visit Delhi tourism official website at this. Bhardwaj said that everyone was not aware of stories like Delhi being established and destroyed 7 times, but such captivating stories will be shared during the heritage walk. Delhi has hidden stories of various empires, starting with the Pandavas, Indraprasth, then moves to Prithviraj Chauhan's Kilarai Pithora to the Tughlaqabad, to the Tughlaq Empire's Tughlaqabad, Jahanpana, Firozabad, to the Mughal era Shahjahabad, and to Shershah Suri's time with the construction of Old Fort, which is also said to be related to the Pandavas' time. Subsequently, the British arrived in India and established what is presently known as New Delhi, a city masterminded by Sir Edwin Lutyens. Throughout its different eras under various rulers, Delhi has consistently been the capital rich with countless narratives, he added. The Eknath Shinde government is set to reduce a bill providing for a quota for Maratha community which could range between 10% to 12% in the special assembly session of state legislature on February 20, government sources said. This follows the survey report of Maharashtra State Backward Class Commission which concluded the Maratha caste in the state is backward. In the special session, we will provide a Maratha quota which will last and stand up to the legal scrutiny. It will not impact the quota of other communities including OBCs. I will fulfill the oath I made before Chhatrapati Shivaji, said CM Eknath Shinde at a Shiv Sena meeting on Saturday. State faces both Lok Sabha and Assembly polls this year. The ongoing agitation by Maratha quota activist Manoj had put increasing pressure on government. Amid little indication of any improvement in India-Canada ties, which have been ended by Canadian PM Justin Trudeau's credible allegations of Indian involvement in killing of a Sikh separatist, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar and his counterpart Melanie Joly had a frank discussion on the present state of bilateral ties. This was only the first officially confirmed meeting between the two leaders since Trudeau's allegations in Canadian Parliament last September of India's role in the assassination of Khalistani leader Hardeep Nijjar. They were said to have met in Washington with same month to discuss the issue, but the meeting was never confirmed by Indian side. Jaishankar reiterated New Delhi's concern about anti-India activists of Khalistan separatists in Canada and threat from terrorism and extremism, which, as Indian authorities have repeatedly stated, Ottawa has allowed to go unchecked. While there was no readout by either side of the meet, Joly said in a post on X they had frank talks. India has not joined the Canadian probe into the killing of Nijjar because of Ottawa's reluctance or inability to share any evidence with Indian authorities. Joly also said she discussed Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, while outgoing Canadian NSA Jodie Thomas had recently claimed that India's position had evolved and New Delhi was now cooperating with the people. This was contradicted by Indian High Commissioner Sanjay Verma, who said for India to cooperate, Canadian authorities needed to the first share specific and relevant evidence. Interestingly, a Canadian minister seemed to admit as much when he told a parliamentary hearing on the case last week that the concerns Canada has raised with India are allegations. As the probe is ongoing, and Assistant Deputy Minister Weldon, police have not yet released evidence but added the nature of the allegations, if proven by evidence in a court of law, were sufficiently concerning and were tantamount of a grievous breach of Canadian sovereignty. Canada has also maintained that with progress in investigations, its police will be able to share information for India to consider. Asked why Trudeau decided to take the credible allegations to Parliament just before the same was leaked to the Canadian media, the minister said it was implausible, knowing the media was about to release the sensational story, that government would simply chose not to comment. PM's decision was meant to address a concerned Canadian public and reassure them about that government's approach would be in addressing this issue and how this government has actively involved, including the PM's raising it personally with Prime Minister Modi at the G20, he said. In mounting jitters for Congress ahead of Lok Sabha elections, party stalwart Kamal Nath arrived in New Delhi on Saturday afternoon amid swirling speculation that he would join BJP with his son Nakul Nath, MP of Chhindwara in MP. Sources said the 77-year-old former MP CM was likely to meet Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Saturday night. It is not about denying you are saying this. You people are getting excited. I am not getting excited whether this way or that. But if there is any such development, I will inform you first, he told reporters, refusing to deny that he was joining BJP. The next 48 hours could be crucial in the father and son story, and for Congress a nerve-wracking wait. Kamal Nath cut short his 5-day visit to Chhindwara while his son, before leaving for Delhi, erased Congress symbol from his social media handles, and Kamal Nath's close ally and former minister Sajjan Singh Verma did the same. Congress can't shake off the feeling of deja vu, as Jyotiraditya Scindia had omitted all references to his Congress post in the Twitter bio after switching to BJP in March 2020, with 22 MLAs pulling down Kamal Nath's government. After Congress debacle in MP Assembly elections, Kamal Nath was pained when a party national spokesman, while talking to media, accused him of being hand in glove with BJP, a senior party leader said. Though a show cause notice was served to spokesman, no action was taken against him. Nath was also not sent to Rajya Sabha, while the party removed him from the post of State Congress President and appointed a much junior two-time MLA Jitu Patwari as PCC chief. Nath is only Congress leader who knew the Gandhi family since the times of Jawaharlal Nehru. He worked with 3 generations from Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi to Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Rai Bareli Lok Sabha seat will remain with the Gandhi family, Congress leader Jairam Ramesh said Saturday, fueling speculation that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra may file in for mother and outgoing MP Sonia Gandhi. Ramesh did not name anyone and said Congress would decide who to fill from the seat that Sonia represented. Rahul Gandhi's grand messaging about bigotry, unemployment, and cronyism is clashing with petty or organizational fires that has dispirited Congress. Their initial enthusiasm triggered by Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, which the insiders have hoped would prove a nationwide launchpad for Lok Sabha polls. The eruption of public protest by Jharkhand Congress MLAs barely days after Rahul's joint show with the ally JMM in the state had laid bare the disconnect between the latter's anti-BJP campaign that concerns of party ground troops. Now the Yatra has entered its most fraught lap of UP, where lack of finance could dampen the party mood further amid an JDU, which recently returned to the NDA fold, has thrown its weight behind the proposal for one nation, one election, citing reduced financial burden policy, continuing political stability, and the logistical ease in conduct of electoral process that simultaneous polls to the Lok Sabha and the State Assembly would entail. Nitish Kumar's party, however, is not in favor of adding local body elections to synergize poll exercise, conveying JDU stand to the One Nation One Election committee led by former President Ramnath Kovind on Saturday. A delegation comprising JDU General Secretary Sanjay Jha and parliamentary party leaders Rajiv Ranjan Singh has said simultaneous elections are important to strengthen the architecture of good governance. It endorsed the view expressed by business associations like CII, FICCI, this and this. BJP's Bihar ally cited 10 advantages of concurrent polls: saving of high cost, continuity in policy decisions, undivided attention to governance, higher voter turnout, reduced disruptions in normal life, streamlined electoral process, level playing field, ease of implementation, reduced poll related violence, and political stability. BJP passed a political resolution on the first day of its two-day National Council meet, endorsing the 10-year of the Modi government and likening it to Ram Rajya, which will lead to the developed India, Viksit Bharat by 2047, the party's central plank for Lok Sabha polls. The past 10 years have witnessed realization of ideals of Ram Rajya under the leadership of PM Modi. During this period, the country had gone through the uninterrupted journey of security, prosperity, and happiness for all. Under PM Modi's leadership, the nation has taken the punch prance of fearing itself from the mentality of slavery, learning to be proud of our heritage, resolving to be developed nation, demonstrating strength in our unity, and fulfilling the duties of citizens with honesty, the party stated. Earlier, when the PM reached the dais of inauguration of the meet in Bharat Mandapam, its main hall echoed with chants of Modi Modi and Modi hai to mumkin hai, for which he expressed gratitude to over 11,000 excited delegates present. With a target of 370 seats in Lok Sabha polls, BJP has decided to focus on 161 seats it lost in 2019, which the party leadership telling that the cadre that it can achieve the goal set by PM Modi by winning 67 seats of those seats. We have to cross 370 seats and NDA has to cross 400. With a target of 370 seats in Lok Sabha polls, BJP has decided to focus on 161 seats it lost in 2019, with the party leadership telling that the cadre that it can achieve the goal set by PM Modi by winning 67 of those seats. We have to cross 370 seats and NDA has to cross 400, Nadda said in his inaugural address to the party's National Council meet on Saturday. Speaking to the importance of winning the seats BJP lost last time, he said development of the constituencies concerned under the watch of Parvas Mantri will help, even as it drew out the outreach plan for the party workers over the next 100 days, right from the booth level to take the message of Viksit Bharat and Gyan Garib, this and this. Nadda underscored the party's meteoric rise since PM Modi took office and lauded his leadership in the past decade. The Modi government will score a hat-trick and retain power for a third straight term, he told the nearly 11,000 party delegates. He listed the 16 victories in 26 elections post 2019 and said it's all because of the trust of people in Modi and his guarantees. He had endorsed PM Modi's work. Modi ji has fulfilled the commitment he had made. Bharatiya Kisan Union Tiket faction held a panchayat at Sisoli in Muzaffarnagar and on Saturday. After the meeting, which was attended by BKU members from several states, the union's national spokesman Rakesh Tiket said, "We want government to fulfill farmers' demands in 1 or 2 days, or else a dolaying dharna will be held in Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand and UP on February 21. Slamming government's high-handedness, Tiket said that all BKU members condemned government's action at Sambhu border. He added, "We also decided that Sanyukt Kisan Morcha should give a call to the parked tractors on all highways leading to Delhi on February this and this." He further said, "We will inform SKM about today's discussion. Tractors will remain parked on one side of the highway. Commuters and locals should not face any inconvenience. People should know the farmers are protesting for them, and of course, if asked to march to Delhi, the farmers would do so. We are planning to hold a meeting in Delhi tentatively scheduled on February 14. Besides Haridwar in Uttarakhand, districts in UP which came up for discussion for the tractor march were Muzaffarnagar, Meerut, Ghaziabad, Amroha, Muradabad and Hapur. Addressing farmers, Tiket said, "This government works only for industrialists and capitalists. If you want to save our farmlands, then you need to agitate again." PM Modi will be chief guest at Monday's inaugural ceremony of the 4th edition of groundbreaking ceremony in Lucknow to lay the foundation of development projects worth Rs 10 lakh crore from February 19 to 21, which will likely generate over 33 lakh job opportunities in UP. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath reviewed Saturday preparations at the venue Indira Gandhi Pratishthan before leaving for Delhi. About 3,500 investors and guests from India and abroad, including representatives from Fortune 500 companies, ambassadors and high commissioners will attend the event. Yogi instructed the organizers that guests arriving for GBC 4.0 should be welcomed in the tradition of Atithi Devo Bhava to experience Lucknow's culture of hospitality. GBC 4.0 includes 262 projects over this and this. Those holdings have boosted their net worth by a combined $124 billion so far this year, accounting for 96% of the total wealth gained on Bloomberg Billionaire Index. The biggest winners include Huang and Mark Zuckerberg, whose Meta platforms in INC is the second best performer on the S&P 500 index after Nvidia for the second year in a row. Steve Ballmer had ridden the wave of optimism that accompanied Microsoft Corp's partnership with OpenAI, while Michael Dell has seen his fortune surge thanks in a part of AI initiative at Dell Technologies, INC and Broadman. Baseball rising, Yashasvi's blistering tone puts host 332 runs in front when 8 wickets in hand at stumps. Galvanized by the crisis triggered by R. Ashwin's sudden pullout from the match due to his mother's medical condition, India staged a comeback for the ages on day 3 to take firm command of the